Hello Aquarius, welcome to Monarch Intuition, and today I'm going to be doing your September 2022 mid-monthly check-in reading for you. So if you're new to my channel, what I like to do is I like to pull one major arcana to see the energy and then clarify with a different deck. So what's going on for the sign of Aquarius? What do we need to know for you? Give it one more shuffle. All right, we have the Death card. All right. So the Death card represents endings within your life. Now, I'm not going to say it's a physical death, and I'm not going to say, it's a spiritual or an egotistical death. What we have to understand about the Death card is death comes for everything. When we look at the traditional artwork of the Death card, there is the Pope, there is a child, and there is a mother, right? And death is riding on the white horse. Now, death comes for all things. And it's a sad, brutal truth that you could be man, woman, or child. You could be the Pope of all things, right? But death is going to come for you eventually. Now, death can also come for every aspect within your life. For example, there are endings to relationships. There are endings to jobs. There is retirement. There is, you need to get a new car. You need to get a new cell phone. There is always an ending within your life. It doesn't always have to apply to a physical aspect, all right? Now, with this Death card, you do have an ending here. Now, let's look at the Revelations Tarot. What is going on with this? Now, here's the thing. Endings can be good. Endings can be bad, depending on how you look at that. For example, if you're wanting to retire and live out your life and in a different state or a different country, then the ending of your career is probably one of the happiest things for you, right? So it's all about perspective. It's all about the timing of death as well. So let's look at this. We have the Nine of Cups in reversed. We have the Seven of Wands upright. And we have the Lovers in reversed. Okay. Well, the Nine of Cups in reverse does represent an ending to a wish, all right? What we have to understand about the Nine of Cups is that there is wish fulfillment within all aspects of our lives, but sometimes that wish does not come true, or sometimes that wish comes true and it's not exactly what we want. All good things must come to an end. This Seven of Wands means that you are blocked off to certain situations in your life. And I kind of feel like that's very important. You're blocked off to this Lovers in reverse energy. You saw something not work out for you. You're blocked off to new concepts and new things coming in because you're smarter from the Nine of Cups. So this is the concept of manifestation right here. A lot of people try to manifest and they don't know what on earth they're doing. And so they manifest all these different things into their life and they're just have bitter endings to them. This is you finally recognizing the signs and patterns and synchronicities within your life and saying, I don't want those things because they don't serve me. They are not for my highest interest right here. So with this Lovers in reverse, this is the perverse version of Adam and Eve within the Garden of Eden. This is kind of like the serpent about to make them take the bite. Now, we have the devil and we have the lovers, right? The devil is when Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden. This is still when they're inside the Garden of Eden and God has not found out about that situation. What you have to understand about this right here is that you need to, imagine if Adam had said, no, I don't want to take a bite of that apple. I'm sorry, Eve, but you're going down with the ship. That's the situation right there. Someone else is about to someone's taken the bite already. Someone else has. And you have the opportunity to say no because it's not exactly what you want. Because when we look at this Death card right here, is that it does mean an ending to something. That's what you have to understand. Just because someone else takes a bite of something doesn't mean you have to take the bite of something as well. So let's look at this energy. What's this Nine of Cups in reverse? So someone could be trying to get magic over on you right here. Because remember, the devil represents after they've already left the garden, so when both of them had sinned. This is when just one of them had sinned, so Eve, right? Now, Adam could turn it down, just like you could turn a situation down. It's tantalizing, it's tempting, but it's the Nine of Cups in reverse. What is this Nine of Cups? The Ten of Cups with the Empress. It looks very appealing, but it is not exactly what you want. You know that this situation, it's kind of like when Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, they had the entire world for themselves. They had an entire concept for themselves, right? They had the Ten of Cups, so Adam and Eve standing on this card with Cain and Abel in the background, right, as children. Now, what's important to understand is that this is generally a very happy card, same with the Empress. But what did they ultimately gain by having this entire situation for themselves? Well, they gained death. They gained the concept of knowledge of good and evil. They gained pain. So that's what I'm seeing for you, is that it looks very appealing. But what did they ultimately gain in the end? They had to till the soil, because once again, the Empress is not really a manifestation of a human being. It can be that concept, but it's ultimately the concept of a country, okay? Now, this is going to sound a little sexist, but think about it like this. The Emperor rules over a country, right? And the Empress is kind of like the concept of we're all born on this country, Mother Earth, or this region or this area is our mother. For example, if you were born in, say, the United States of America, you are, American, or a United States citizen, whatever. Or if you're born in Canada, you're from Canada, you're Canadian, and that is your home birth, that is the motherland for you, right? So that's what we have to understand right here, is that they ultimately didn't gain anything from this wish fulfillment, all right? You have the Three of Swords and you have the Ten of Wands. You're blocking this because you don't want to experience the heartbreak, and you don't want to experience the Ten of Wands, because once again, the Ten of Wands is having to till that soil. That's having to go out there in the field and perform backbreaking labor, and then this Three of Swords is recognizing what you've done, okay? Now look at this Lover's energy. You have the Four of Wands and you have the Three of Cups. It's like they want you to take the bite. They want you to celebrate with them, but here's what you have to understand right here, Aquarius. A lot of people want you to celebrate them. This is kind of like the Mark of the Beast energy. It's like, oh, Aquarius, look at how great this situation is. Look at how beautiful this is. You could have anything that you want, but ultimately, if you already know the concept of like the Mark of the Beast, or taking the bite of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, wasn't that kind of a bad concept for them, or in general? People want you to celebrate them with this Lover's energy in reverse, but you have the concept and you have the choice to say no, all right? You're not going to have to deal with this. Now, ultimately, when we look at, say, the book of Revelation, because we have to understand tarot is extremely biblical, because that's why we have cards like the Tower, which is the Tower of Babel, the Pope, the Priestess, which was originally the Popess. You have Judgment, which represents Judgment Day of Revelation, the world, judgment over the world, the four angels on all four corners of it. Like, it's very, very biblical, all right? When we look at this, it says when people do not accept the Mark of the Beast, they're not going to be able to buy food. They're not going to be able to, accept whatever. That's kind of what this concept is right here, all right? It can also be that you could have an easy life on this earth, right? But when we look at the more biblical aspect, which is what tarot is, it's a very biblical form of cartomancy. Now, all cartomancy is going to be based in biblical references, but tarot is Italian, developed in the 1500s, so it is based in Catholicism, all right? So it's taking the concept of the Bible and applying it to these playing cards. So imagine if people were accepting the Mark of the Beast, would you do that? Because isn't heaven a lot better than earth? Okay? That's what you have to think about right here. Now, a lot of people are wanting you to get involved. Now, I'm not saying the Mark of the Beast is coming. I'm just saying that a lot of people are involved in a situation. They're like super happy about something. Like, oh my gosh, I really want this. You should get involved with us, Aquarius. But it's not what you truly desire. The Knight of Wands, the Two of Swords, and the Two of Wands. You can quickly move forward into a new situation on this globe right here, into a better situation for yourself, but you can't see that. You want to go and celebrate with the Nine of Wands. You want to rush into a situation. But what you can't see is that you can have a new situation somewhere else, something that's better for you. You have the Tower, you have the Four of Cups, and you have the Queen of Cups. What you need to understand is that what's going on is this Tower energy. Something is breaking down, something is falling apart. Now, you're looking at these three people celebrating with this cups right here, because the Three and the Four of Cups are very similar. So you're kind of watching these people, right? And you're thinking, maybe I should take this cup. Maybe I want to accept their cup right here. But what's coming for you is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups represents mother, divine mother energy, all right? So think of God as like, a very nurturing person. That's what the Queen of Cups is. It's like the very nurturing, caring aspect of God. Think of like the concept of Jesus, right? So when we look at this energy, the Queen is offering you this cup out of the air. Tower is going to strike down these people right here, all right? You're going to have the ability to celebrate with people. It's going to look fun. You're going to want to do it. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, it looks so much fun. But remember, Mercury is in retrograde, all right? You can take the cup out of the Queen of Cups hands, which is the cup that's being offered to you by the universe. You don't have to accept the basic cup because, once again, when we look at the Queen of Cups, she has a different cup from any of the other cups, okay? Her cup is this most beautiful, magnificent thing. It kind of represents the cup of immortality. We have the Magician, we have the King of Pentacles, and we have the Page of Swords. Your energy is coming out. You can manifest something much better for yourself, and you can also keep an eye on this situation, all right? What you need to understand for yourself is that the King of Pentacles doesn't become the King of Pentacles very young in life. He has to work very hard. He eventually attains King of Pentacles status when he becomes older. You can put in a lot of work now to attain this King of Pentacles and not celebrate prematurely with this Three of Cups energy with these people over here. Continue to watch the situation, see how it plays out, and you will see the Tower, all right? The Nine of Swords, the Emperor, and the High Priestess. You're going to feel a lot of anxiety when this situation happens, all right? But you are going to be sitting on the throne like the Emperor and knowing hindsight is 20/20 with the High Priestess, okay? Hindsight is 20/20 with the High Priestess because she sits at the pinnacles of yin and yang. What you can understand is you can see things from the positive polarity and from the negative polarity. Most people want you to only see things from one way, right? Which is the positive aspect. However, people with a more morbid curiosity and more ambition within life want to look at the negative polarity because it's like, why can't I do that? Well, I'm not going to touch it. Some people want to touch it. That's the concept of, like, you know, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Some people want to touch everything and, you know, fuck things up for themselves. However, there's nothing wrong with going and looking at it. That's the whole point of it. You can look at situations but not touch them. Same thing with the Page of Swords. You can keep an eye on that situation over there, but don't touch it. Whatever this is, look at it, be like, oh, yeah, that looks fun. Instagram photos are pretty cool. But here's the thing. When you see the Tower strike, you're going to be sitting on your throne as this Emperor. You're going to have like this very authoritarian situation. You're going to be looking at something and be like, oh my gosh. And it's going to feel like the Tower's falling apart within your life, but that's the hindsight being 20/20. It could have been you, but it wasn't. All right? Ten of Pentacles coming out, balancing out the situation. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about? The Ten of Pentacles is coming out now. This is solid. This is emotional. All right? The emotion right here is not, it's a climax to something. The Ten of Cups is a very fast energy. It represents, you know, the orgasm. It doesn't last forever. But the Ten of Pentacles does because it's kind of like, you know, think of like the Pantheon or Parthenon, whatever. Think of like all those ancient temples, all those ancient, you know, whatever. They stood the test of time. The pyramids, for example. That's the balance of this situation. You work on something that's more solid and has actual results. And that's what the Magician does. He doesn't work off of fantasy. He works off of results. All right. The Magician card, when we talk about it, stems from the word magi, right? Magi were wise men. They were known to be practitioners of magic, but magic is really just unexplained science or unexplained technology. We've talked about this before. When we look at the Magician energy, we have to understand that each one of these tools has a purpose behind them. They're not just magical tools. They are useful for certain aspects within life. For example, you can drink out of a cup. You can spend money with the pentacles or use it as money. You can hit people with the wands and you can hit people with the sword. What you have to understand is that he sees results. He is a scientist. The Magi were scientists. They looked at the stars. Yes, they believed in astrology, but what is astronomy? It's astrology, but without all the spiritual aspects behind it. What is, you know, science now? What is like, you know, like pharmacology? Well, it stems from the word pharmakia, which is black magic or occult magic. So once again, these people were scientists. They understood the power of the elements and the tools. A lot of people think, you know, certain things have healing properties to them. They believed it too, but they understood that you had to grind some of them up and add them to your food, things that were, you know, edible at the time period. So when we look at this right here, this is a balanced situation for you. You want the physical results. You don't want the emotional results. You have the physical results with the Emperor and the High Priestess because, once again, the Emperor rules over the Empress, all right? So you're sitting on the throne as the emperor ruling a plot of land. That's the hindsight being 2020 with the high priestess, all right? So let's look at this. What is this? What's going on over here? I actually want to take a look at what are they doing? What is going on over here? Stealing, fighting. It can represent the police. Like, these people are just, like, not very good people, all right? These people are just very backstabby, always wanting to get one up on the competition, taking from one another, and it eventually, you know, catches up to them. That's what the Chariot energy. That's what you have to understand for yourself, Aquarius. These people are not good people right here, all right? They're going to lead you into the Tower moment. If you continue to deal with them, if you continue to mess with them, that's the situation for you. So let's look at the Witch's Familiar cards. What's going on with the Witch's Familiars? You have Horse, Transcendence, Owl, Wisdom. Yeah, be the magician. You have the wisdom. Transcend past this situation. It looks fun, but, I mean, was it really fun getting kicked out of the garden and having to, like, you know, do manual labor for the rest of your life? No. Adam could have simply said no. Like, that was the whole point of that. You have Lady de los Muertos, Acceptance and Equality, Skeleton, Strength. You know, with this acceptance and equality, you have to accept that certain things are going to end. And it's very funny that we have Lady de los Muertos and your first card was the Death card. Things are going to come to an end. But you have the strength to continue to move forward within your life, Aquarius, okay? That's the point. You have to understand things will come to an end. These people are not going to matter within the next 3 to 5 years. They just won't. In fact, if you choose to make a choice right now to make them not relevant to your life whatsoever, they won't be relevant to your life, all right? Now, you have to have the strength to stay away from them, especially if they're offering you really bad things and they're doing really bad things. But ultimately, what you can do is you can just continue to move forward. This card fell off. We have the Four of Swords in reverse. This is you resting from a situation and saying, I'm going to take on a different battle for myself. That's what you need to understand right there. You don't want to wake up prematurely. You want to make sure that you're fully recovered from a situation before you go charging out. So recover from these people. And that's the thing is, like, you have to recover from these people who are your friends, who are from your past or whatever, to move forward within your life. You have to make sure that what they do does not affect you, okay? You have the Alchemy with the Magician card, and you have Nourish and Flourish. Continue to take care of yourself. Continue to grow things for yourself. Do not bother with this situation over here. Now let's look at the Rune cards. What's going on with the Rune cards? You have Gebo, gift, success, union, happiness, obligation, spiritual meaning, karma, and inner equilibrium. Whatever happens over here, happens over here. I feel like this is happening within the month of September for you, Aquarius. Just don't bother with them. Just stay away. Do what you're going to do. Be like the King of Pentacles. Focus on your money. Focus on yourself. Heal from them. Don't be involved. You have Feha, achieve a goal, attract money, succeed in business, attain a promotion or a new job. So anyway, Aquarius, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'll talk to you later.